Ramps, aka wild leeks, are a hyper-seasonal vegetable that grow in certain forested areas here in the US. Right around here, right in this little zone right here. I mentioned hyper-seasonal. Ramps have a super short growing period, usually from the last frost to right when the trees start budding out. That's usually around March to April around these parts. Ramps can take up to 7 years to grow back once picked. The cult vegetable, once almost exclusively enjoyed by chefs, cooks, and foragers, has taken center stage due to a number of viral videos circulating the web. These videos are often controversial due to the manner in which the ramp is collected, or straight up confusing just because of the sheer amount of information out there. It seems everybody and their uncle has an opinion on how to sustainably forage for ramps, but the fact is there's really no one-size-fits-all conclusion here. So to make sure that these ramps, these wonderful stinky onions, don't go by way of the dodo bird, I've partnered up with an awesome, very skilled, very knowledgeable local forager to make sure we're doing things the right way. I will stop talking, I've said enough. Let's wander into the woods. All right, so we are here in the beautiful, beautiful undisclosed forest preserve number 591. I'm here with my friend Michael today, who's gonna show us a thing or two about sustainably foraging for ramps. He's super knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about. Let's bring in Mike, AKA Edible Illinois.
Howdy.
Pretty much everything you see here are ramps. I mean, there's a lot more, but these big boys, they're ramps. And Mike knows a thing or two about ramps. A lot of people love them, chefs love them, and so we're gonna talk about how to sustainably and responsibly collect these guys, and probably a lot more that I don't know. So
let's take a look at this bigger patch.
That's
right
a nice
here.
Juicy patch with a little May apple, right?
Yeah, May apples here. You can see this right here. This is actually the flower head of the ramp. Right here are the seeds. So you can actually take these and plant them in your own garden if you want.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a ramp seed?
That's a ramp seed.
What?
Yep. So when it comes to foraging, personally, I hold a non-absolutist philosophy, where it's never you only ever take the leaves, you only take the bulb. It's never only anything. It is always going to depend on an assessment of your environment and to see how much this plant is actually struggling. So in this case, when it's not, we can feel comfortable reaching in here, and what you're doing is you're loosening up the soil a little bit. I'm being careful to try and not hit the other plants. I'm just loosening up the soil a little. I'm gonna get under and kind of lift up and see. We've got this.
That sheath. But look at that, that is the cleanestly picked ramp I've ever seen anyone do. I don't destroy the whole thing, but like I'll usually try to go around it, and it takes a lot of energy. So you can just go in there with a knife and just kind of
you just kind of want to go in there and you want to get under it, and then what I do is I push it up like this. Push it up like this.
Wow, you just heard it like Pickles.
Yep, you can hear it snapping, the roots breaking, and there you go, you got another plant.
Wow.
I would advise most foragers to practice the common 1 leaf per every 3 plants.
And when you say leaf, are you talking about the whole thing?
No, I'm just the base. So in this case, you would just take the leaf from here. This is when I'm talking about with the leaf, and then this is the whole plant. Right. So in this case, where there's, again, 16 of these plants in one little spot, they're actually competing against each other. So this is actually kind of a little bit of a stressful environment for this plant. So the best thing to do here would be to thin out this patch a little bit, and these plants here will actually grow back better next year, and if you replant these, they will start dividing within a year or 2. So again, it's more about being thoughtful, making sure you're always leaving plenty behind. The general rule of thumb for that is about 5 plants per square foot.
Huh, that doesn't look like it's gonna be that much of a problem here.
No, definitely not here.
Look at this, dude. Wow.
It's one of the most green areas I've ever been. However, it's still nothing compared to what it used to be.
Right.
Its former glory.
Well, that's why it's important that we do this the right way.
Yeah, you harvest thoughtfully and you make sure that you don't take too much of one patch. Right. Because this is Chicago's namesake. We want to make sure that it's here for all of its educational purposes in the future, and for everybody to be able to enjoy it and love it and find other reasons to enjoy this area of Illinois too. Dude,
love that.
Yeah.
I think that's it's a good thing to end on, man. Thank you for showing us how it's done, dude.
Absolutely. Some grimy handshakes.
Yeah, dude, that's how you know it's legit. All right, so we're back in the kitchen, as you can see. We got our ramps from the forest. Before we preserve them, we have to clean them. Think of a ramp as having two parts, the bulb and the leaves. The bulbs have a similar look and feel to the bottoms of a scallion, so to clean them, just use a sharp knife to carefully remove those dirty roots and toss away the trim. The leaves look and feel like any other leafy green, so just do your best to wash off any surface dirt. Ramps grow out of the ground just like a leek would, and just like a leek, they get dirt trapped on the inside where the bulb begins to shoot up to the leaves, so be sure to rinse that section thoroughly. I like to keep the unprocessed ramps on my left, the sink running with cold water, then after rinsing, the squeaky clean ramps go on a tray to my right, so left to right, or if you're a lefty, the opposite. I'm a fan of preserving fresh ramps to stretch out their life cycle, otherwise like any other vegetable, they're gonna go bad after a week or so. To keep things simple and let the ramp flavor speak for itself, I'm going to make two types of plain quick pickles, meaning that there isn't actually any canning involved. One is going to be pickled with soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, and sugar, while the other, white wine vinegar, plain white vinegar, salt, and sugar. Heat the brines up until lightly steaming and the salt and sugar has dissolved, then pour them into a heat-proof jar over the ramps and cover with a lid, then just let them cool to room temperature before refrigerating. These pickles really are best after they sit for a couple days in the fridge, but you can totally eat them immediately after they cool down a bit. So if you treat the bulbs like you would an onion, you can treat the leaves of the ramp like you would any soft herb. I'm going to make a gorgeous green compound butter out of the ramps by first blanching 1 cup of the chopped leaves in simmering water for 5 seconds, then shocking in an ice bath to cool. The blanching process helps to mellow out the super strong garlicky flavor of the ramp while preserving its bright, beautiful green color. Press out as much excess water as you can, then pop those in a food processor along with another cup of raw chopped leaves and a pinch of salt. Blitz that all up, then start to incrementally drop in 4 sticks of room temperature unsalted butter until all of the plant matter is emulsified in. The more butter you add, the more the machine has to work with, so take your time here and let the machine work its magic. We want a super smooth, Hulk-colored butter, which will take time in a food processor. At the end, season up with a tablespoon of lemon juice, black pepper, and more salt, adding more to taste as needed. Now you can roll the butter up in plastic or parchment paper or another resealable container and chill it down. I like to keep half of this in my fridge for immediate use and the other half in my freezer to use as we move sort of through the summer. But I was hungo and just so happened to have some extra bread laying around from R&D for another video, so fancy ramp toast it is. Here I'm just toasting off a little bit of that bread, laying on the ramp butter with some freshly grated parm. Then, after some time under the broiler in the heat dungeon, once that cheese is melted, on goes some sliced deli ham, because that's what I had in my fridge, and a few of those pickled ramps that we made earlier. Now, some people describe the taste of ramps as a cross between garlic and a leek, but honestly, as lame and potentially elitist as this is to say, that just really doesn't do it justice. I mean, the flavor is definitely one of an allium, aka it's in the onion family, but ramps have a uniquely extraordinary flavor that you kinda need to experience to understand, so I urge you to get out there, go out there, get you some, sustainably harvest them of course, and have fun with it. There's a reason why chefs and cooks love this stuff. Alright, so hopefully by now you know how to sustainably hunt down some ramps of your own. And of course, if this video did help you in any way or you learned something, please like the video, and of course if you're new here, sub to the chan. I always love getting out of the kitchen and sort of doing fun things like this, so if you want more forest to table type videos, foraging, sort of like nature-y type videos, let me know in the comments below. We can have some fun with some of your ideas. Your feedback is tremendously helpful, and I thank you so much for watching the video, and I shall see you very soon. Rams 2022.
Oh, yeah.